Well, I honestly have to eat crow because I've been talking about how Jalen Hurts is an overrated quarterback. And then last night, he goes and beats the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl. So, this is Mr. Hornsby 3. This is the Mr. Hornsby 3 show. And today, I'm going to be talking about the Super Bowl. I'm going to talk about three things. I'm going to talk about the game itself. I'm going to talk about the halftime show. A lot of people very mixed on this show. And I'm going to talk about the commercials. All that. So first off, let's get into the game. I mean, gee whiz, everybody was so certain the Chiefs were going to win their third in a row. Fortunately, that didn't happen because the Eagles defense had something to say about that. They said, that ain't going to happen on our watch. We're taking you down. So, Eagles defense was very on par against the Chiefs last night. I mean, Patrick Mahomes was so rattled. There's a couple times where he handed the ball off to run the ball. And that's saying a lot when you got Patrick Mahomes not wanting to throw and running and handing the ball off and running. Even though they ran a couple times, they still... sorry about that. Even though they ran a couple times, they still lost. I mean, they still freaking couldn't get much yardage. The freaking Eagles just shut down the run, and then they just let loose on Patrick Mahomes. Overall, I gotta say, aesthetically, the game was kind of a bore because the Eagles dominated the whole game. They were up 17-0. Then they went up to 24-0, and then they went up to 30-something to nothing, and then they just continued. I mean, I think their final score was 40-22. So, the freaking Chiefs offense did not wake up until the final 5 minutes of the game, and they got a couple of scoring drives. That was it. So they scored at the end of halftime. Or I don't know, they scored once in the beginning of the third. Then they didn't score again until the last 5 minutes of the game. So yeah, aesthetically the game was not that pleasing to see. But, you know what? They still freaking want, the Chiefs still got clobbered. They got dominated on both sides of the ball. Jalen Hurts. Everybody talked about how Saquon Barkley was going to be a difference maker. Honestly, Jalen Hurts had more rushing yards than Saquon Barkley had. Not only that, Jalen Hurts threw for 300 yards on the Chiefs' defense. That was a top-tier defense. And they went out and they won. Oh, man, keep yawning. And they went out and won the game. So overall, the game was kind of boring to watch. But you know what? In the end, it cosmetically looked better. You know what? And you would think with the Eagles winning against the Chiefs that there would be no more crackpot theories out there. But then again, my brother-in-law JC, not the JCT and I news guy, but my brother-in-law, my wife's brother, J.C. John Carpenter, not the John Carpenter that made the Halloween movies. They're not even related to that John Carpenter. But then he has some crackpot theory on how it was still rigged. The Chiefs lost because they were getting so much heat. I'm like, Lord. Why? Now, I don't know if he did anything on his JC Sports page, which is on Facebook, if you want to go check that out. You've seen my brother-in-law JC on YouTube with me before. We did a couple of built videos together, and a couple other videos he's done with me. That's in some of the earlier days of the Mr. Hornsby 83 show. But, and And pretty much my Facebook, when I started doing Facebook Lives on my Facebook fan page, that encouraged him to do his own Facebook fan page, or his own Facebook sports page. So, yeah. Quit with the crackpot theories, JC. You should be happy the Chiefs did not win the Super Bowl. That's what I'm happy about. That's what everybody else in America's happy about. Now, I don't hate the Chiefs because, honestly, I don't hate the Chiefs like other people do. I just have Chiefs fatigue. I've seen enough of them in the Super Bowl. I want to see a different team in there. Other people just totally hate them. And my nephew Dylan has jumped the bandwagon to the Chiefs. I wonder if he jumped the bandwagon to the Eagles last night after they stomped the Chiefs. Who knows? But, yeah. Because I didn't care for either team. Because I thought Jalen Hurts was an overrated quarterback. He proved me wrong last night, but I still think he's not a great quarterback. He's a good quarterback with the clutch gene. And, I mean, I don't think he's as great as Patrick Mahomes. Now, he's outplayed Patrick Mahomes both times he's played him in the Super Bowl, which was 2 years ago when they played in the Super Bowl, and then this year. But, I gotta say, I'm eating crow on frickin' Jalen Hurts. So, yeah. I can admit when I'm wrong, unlike other people who can't admit when they're wrong. I can admit when I'm wrong. And Jalen Hurts is a better quarterback than I thought he was. I mean, you have to be to beat the Chiefs at their peak. And for you to just outplay the best quarterback in the frickin' NFL, which is Patrick Mahomes. But, yeah, also, I'm going to compare Jalen Hurts to another Super Bowl winning quarterback. Sorry about that. I'm going to compare Jalen Hurts to another Super Bowl winning quarterback. I guess I'm so tired and bored from talking about the game, I'm yawning so much. But I'm going to compare Jalen Hurts to a different quarterback, and Jalen Hurts might be a little bit better than his quarterback. But, yeah. So, congratulations to the Eagles. I believe this is their second championship. The first one they won with Nick Foles against the almighty Patriots, and then they go into Kansas. Then they go into the Super Bowl and beat the almighty Kansas City Chiefs. And Pat Man. Oh, my God. That was so stupid. Pat Man. Well, that was a dumb commercial. I'll talk about the commercials when I get to the commercials, because there were some trailers for some things, but nothing really exciting or nothing as good as it used to be when they used to have Super Bowl commercials that were great. But anyway, so outside of, what happened at the end, the game was pretty much over before it started. I mean, the game, I knew no soon as the Eagles went up 24-0. I'm like, yep, they're definitely winning this. There's no freaking way that they're going to screw up, let Mahomes come back. They're not going to pull an Atlanta Falcons against the Patriots and freaking win the Super Bowl and let the Chiefs come back and win the Super Bowl. So I knew once it went 24-0, I'm like, that's it. This game's over. This game is over. And that was like in the second quarter. So Jalen Hurts, congratulations. I apologize for calling you an overrated quarterback and for dissing you so much. You're a better quarterback than I thought. I was calling him Carson Wentz 2.0. That's how much I thought of freaking Jalen Hurts. So, I'm eating crow on that. I made a mistake. I apologize to Mr. Jalen Hurts, Super Bowl winning quarterback. Now, let's get into the halftime show. People were mixed on the show, and, I have no clue who this Kendrick Lamar guy is. All I know is, my daughter and my son-in-law were talking about it last night, like, oh, he dissed Drake because he's a pedophile, because Drake's a pedophile or whatever. I don't know about that. But I'm like, okay, well, if he's dissing Drake, because I think Drake was, even before I knew he was a pedophile, I always thought Drake was overrated. I didn't think he was that great of a rapper. I also felt the same way about Jay-Z. And one day I'm going to have to do a rap topic video where I talk about certain rappers that were overrated and got more hype than they deserved. But, I think he was a bit overrated. So apparently this guy dissed Drake. And I noticed right off the bat with one of the disses where he said, just because you have a lot of influence doesn't make you a great rapper. I'm like, yeah, that's true. Influence does not make a rapper a great rapper. But then they did the thing about the minor and all that stuff. I'm like, all right, well, I really didn't know about all that. Like I said, I don't keep up on entertainers' personal lives. I mean, heck, a while back I seen something about when Master P was talking about his daughter that passed away and she was starting to sing like he was. I didn't know about that until I accidentally turned it on this news channel one day and Master P's on there talking about it. And I think he started crying about it, but I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Master P had a daughter? She was rapping? She died young? That's crazy. So, but I had no clue. I've said that time and time again, I don't keep up on entertainers' freaking personal lives. Whether I like the entertainer or not, I don't keep up on their personal lives. The only reason why I feel the way I feel about Hulk Hogan as a person now is because of watching Hogan Knows Best. And how much he was freaking just, I don't know. How much he freaking seemed like he had the hots for his own daughter. Which is disgusting. He even freaking married his daughter's friend that looks just like her. And freaking, I don't know. And then, when he got caught being racist, he was talking about his freaking daughter's sex life and calling the guy that he thinks she's sleeping with the N-word. I mean, seriously. Oh, Lord. Unbelievable how crazy that could be. Seriously. That is outrageously crazy. Yeah, and then not to mention the stuff that went on with his son with the freaking killing the friend and all that stuff too. And, all the political stuff I've heard about Hogan over the years about him being a politician in the back and all that. Yeah, you kind of change your opinion about a guy. Even though I grew up a Hulkamaniac, I do not care for Hulk Hogan as a person. As a wrestler, I'm still going to be a Hulkamaniac. But him as a person, I could care less about that guy. He's a piece of trash. Kind of like Chris Benoit, no matter what I felt about his wrestling. What he did to a freaking woman and his son was despicable and disgusting and terrible, and he deserved, he don't deserve anything. He don't even deserve praise. Now, he does get praise from wrestling internet communities and all that stuff, but you know what? Yeah, as a person, I could never freaking like Benoit. Even if he hadn't died and he just went to jail. I would have hated him as a person. I would have still enjoyed him as a wrestler. But I would have hated his freaking guts as a person. That's how I feel about Hulk Hogan. Anyway, now we're all with that subject. Let's talk about this halftime show. Kendrick Lamar. And something that really bothered me was, Sam Jackson. And it bothered me because it's a bunch of baloney. A bunch of BS. But Sam Jackson was moderating the thing or whatever, and he's like, oh, that's too ghetto for some people and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, nothing this guy is saying or singing is sounding ghetto or too gangsta for somebody. I mean, seriously. You want to hear gangster and ghetto? Listen to the 90s rap and early 2000s rap. That was gangsta. That was ghetto. These current rappers ain't freaking, they're freaking probably kids that lived in the suburbs and freaking grew up in the suburbs and had an easy life and blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Probably had a rich mom and dad and all that stuff. So, you know what? And that's, a lot of these rappers aren't real. We found out the situation with Rick Ross. But, yeah, I didn't care too much for the concert. I'm like, you know what? When Snoop Dogg played a few years ago, I was cool with that. When Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre, I was like, yes, gangsta right there. Freaking Usher last year, oh God. I'm like, well, you know what? Nothing could be worse than Usher. I'll be honest with you. Nothing could be worse than Usher. I mean, seriously, nothing could be worse than Usher last year. So, Kendrick Lamar, I'm going to say you weren't as bad as Usher. And like I said, nothing can be worse than Usher. So, yeah. I want Janet Jackson's wardrobe malfunction to make a return. Yeah. But, yeah, nothing at all sounded ghetto or gangster about that freaking songs he was singing. I do like the fact that we do have a rapper dissing another rapper. I enjoy rapper beef sometimes. But, yeah. Like Ja Rule and freaking 50 Cent. I mean, Quarter. Ja Rule punked him out or whatever. I'm Team Ja Rule. Screw, 50 Cent was alright. I like Ja Rule better. But, now Eminem's going to hunt me down and be like, you, screw you. Or maybe 50 Cent. He'll come after me. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, I like Ja Rule better than 50 Cent. So, of course, I'm going to be on the side of the rapper I like better than the rapper that I don't like as much. Murder, murder! Can't do the Ja Rule voice. But anyway, so yeah, I mean, the halftime show was alright. Wasn't as bad as Usher last year. I'm like, oh God, they're gaining it up with Usher. But then again, we did have Brad Pitt and freaking Tom Cruise, on the Super Bowl last night. So yeah, I don't know. Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt. Oh boy. Maybe I should do something where I talk about some of these actors. I mean, Tom Cruise ain't flipped out now anyway, all crazy about the Scientology crap. I don't know. Who knows? I did enjoy all the pre-show stuff. One thing I didn't enjoy is Jimmy Johnson, Michael Strahan, Howie Long, Rob Gronkowski, the freaking main moderator, all sucking on Patrick Mahomes in one part of the pre-show, just sucking all over Patrick Mahomes. Talking about his greatness and talking about how he's the only one that'll be able to do this. No one else will be able to do it and blah, 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 blah. Even Tom Brady was kind of sucking on Patrick Mahomes a little. So, yeah, I mean, come on. Yeah, the guy's great. But, gee whiz, you guys are so biased for Patrick Mahomes. You guys lit a fire under Jalen. And not only that, Fox's portion of NFL games are usually the NFC side. And the AFC side goes to CBS and all that. But, yeah. Unbelievable how crazy that was. How much I did like the Lady Gaga song. My wife said it's from the new Top Gun movie that came out last year. Well, okay, well, I don't like Top Gun because I don't like Tom Cruise. Not a Tom Cruise fan. Not a Brad Pitt fan. The only thing I liked from Brad Pitt was Cool World. Tom Cruise, absolutely nothing. I mean, I guess his cameos in Austin Power Gold Member, I guess, would be one thing. But, I did, watch Interview with the Vampire when I was a kid. Only because Kirsten Dunst was in it. And I had a crush on Kirsten Dunst. So, yeah, I watched that because she was in it. But then when I saw how gay the freaking movie was, I never watched it again. And I don't even watch it now currently. Kirsten Dunst can't even save that movie. But anyway. Yeah, the only thing I like from Brad Pitt is Cool World. I know people hate Cool World, but I love Cool World. Now you can give me some more fries, dickhead. Anybody that does like Cool World, you can give me some new fries, dickhead. Anyway, but yeah. I didn't care too much for a halftime show. It was alright. Wasn't as bad as Usher. Oh, boy. Oh, yeah. God, Usher. Alright, so let's get to the commercials. So, something that interests me is they had a commercial with a live-action Stitch. I did not realize they were making a live-action Lilo and Stitch. That's how little I pay attention to freaking Disney stuff. Unless it's something with Marvel or something. But I did not know they were making a live-action Lilo and Stitch. But why not? They've made live-action movies of all their greats. The Lion King. Beauty and the Beast, which had Dan Stevens, who played David in Legion, who was Xavier's son, which I'm watching Legion right now on Hulu from Disney Plus. Then we had Captain America Brave New World trailers. The movie does come out later this week. I think we're going to go see it probably Saturday, but I ain't too worried about the movie. I don't care if the Red Hawk's in it or not. I'm just not interested in watching the Captain America movie. And most of the time, I think a lot of the Marvel movies are overrated. There's only a few Marvel movies I actually like that have been made in the MCU. The 2 Avengers games with Thanos I liked, and a couple other movies. Deadpool and Wolverine I loved this last year. That was like awesome. But, you know, it is what it is. I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy, it's alright. I like the first Iron Man movie. I like the Captain America Civil War movie and that. But, you know, there's not too many Marvel movies I'm a fan of. But, you know what? Hey, not too big of a fan of a lot of DC movies either. I did think, you know, I'm probably one of the few that probably thought that Green Lantern was alright. It was alright. It wasn't bad. But yeah, we got a lot of Captain America Brave New World trailers. We also got the trailer for the Thunderbolts. Yeah, I'm excited for the Thunderbolts. I want to see the Thunderbolts. Yeah. Not really. I could care less about the Thunderbolts. The only thing I care about is when we finally get release dates for the X-Men movie that the MCU is putting out and the freaking Fantastic Four movie that the MCU is putting out. That's the only freaking movies I care about coming out recently or whenever the next Deadpool movie comes out. Yeah, live action Lilo Stitch. Oh my god. It's either going to be a complete copy of the animated version or it's going to be a little bit worse. Now, like I just said, I just recently watched a live action version of the first Lion King movie. They got the Mufasa one that came out this year, or is coming out. But, and I thought, except for a few things they removed from the animated version, it was pretty much the same as the animated version. Beauty and the Beast. There's a little bit of differences in that one too. The guy who played Gaston should have had more muscles than what he had. I mean, seriously, how the heck can you cast somebody for Gaston and not have a freaking big jacked up dude or something? There was no independent actor that was jacked up enough to freaking play Gaston? Or you didn't think of that good enough? I don't know. Gaston's my favorite character for Beauty and the Beast. What can I say? You know, the guy can eat a whole thing of eggs in the morning, right? No. But then we had this one commercial that I did like because it had Mama Said Knock You Out playing. It was I think a St. Jude, or it was some kind of, you know, hospital that helps kids with sicknesses. And the kid wakes up and he's all, you know, energized and he's motivated. He's punching bags, dressed up like a boxer, and you're just hearing, I'm gonna knock you out. Mama said knock you out. That was probably my favorite commercial. Was that one. We had Bud Light, you know. Yeah, it was cool. Peyton Manning was at it. Yeah, I guess it was cool. And then the Sean Gillis guy, comedian, whoever the hell he is. I don't know. My daughter and my son-in-law just went to his show recently. And they wanted to see him in that commercial. I have no clue who he is, though. But, yeah, pretty much just a bunch of movie trailers and, you know. Oh, yeah, I did like the one where the frickin' deer took the frickin' Budweiser back, all the way back to the guy that lost it on the truck. He hauled that all the way back. So here you go. Now hook me up with some free Budweiser. I miss the freaking Budweiser frogs. Bud. Why? Sir. Bud. Why? Sir. Bud. Why? Sir. But yeah, the commercials really weren't that great. And honestly, I don't know. This wasn't a too great Super Bowl anyway. It wasn't too great Super Bowl. The halftime show wasn't great. The commercials weren't great. I could care less about freaking Captain America or the Thunderbolts. But, my son really wants to see the Captain America just for the Red Hawk. So we're probably going to go see that movie just because, my son wants to see it. But Thunderbolts, I could give a damn. Like, who cares about the damn Thunderbolts? You got the mainstream top guys back in the fold. You got Iron Man. You got Captain America. You got X-Men, and you somewhat got Spider-Man backs. Focus on those characters. We're done with people like the Thunderbolts. Speaking of people that was at the freaking Super Bowl last night, Paul Rudd was there. They talked about how he never ages. Yeah, he did. He finally aged in Deadpool and Wolverine. Oh, Paul Rudd finally aged. But, yeah, I don't know. Nothing too exciting about this year's Super Bowl. I'm pretty sure everybody's happy that the frickin' Eagles beat the Chiefs. Except for my brother-in-law, JC, who still thinks it was a conspiracy. His crackpot ideas. And I hate to have to call him out on video sometime. But, yeah. I don't know. I just take care for it. Now, before I go, I want to do 2 more things, and then I'll finish this video off, and, all that stuff. First off, let's compare Jalen Hurts to another quarterback. Eli Manning. Now, look. I've said time and time again, yeah, Eli won 2 Super Bowls, but he rode his defense to those Super Bowl wins against the Patriots. Both times was against the Patriots. And I never thought Eli Manning was that great of a quarterback. Not as good as his brother Peyton. But you know what? I'll also talk about the kick of destiny thing here in a minute too. Because the build-up to it was a little bit better than it had for the other kicks of destiny the past few years. But anyway, the only thing with Jalen Hurts and Eli Manning, Eli Manning, he won them games because of how clutch he was. It's kind of like with the Patriots. The only reason why Brady gets considered the GOAT and all that, because he's won a lot of Super Bowls. But you know what? The guy really, at the end of a game, is really clutch and can really, be clutch when he needs to be clutch to get his team to win. Whether it was with the Patriots, whether it was with the Bucks. And that's kind of, with Jalen Hurts. But even though Jalen Hurts came in and he played way better than Eli Manning did against Tom Brady, I still think I would put Jalen Hurts in the category with Eli. He's a little bit better than Eli because he can throw better and all that stuff. And he can run and all that stuff, which Eli really can't run that well. But you know what? Yeah. Jalen Hurts is not the biggest mediocre quarterback. Not the biggest quarterback I have not been high on that's won a Super Bowl. I was not high on Eli Manning. Not as high as other people who were saying, oh, look, he won 2 Super Bowl championships for his brother. He's better than his brother. No. Peyton Manning got his Super Bowl championship, I think, in Eli Manning's 3rd year. And Peyton Manning didn't always have the team to carry him or have the defense that could carry him the way the Giants defense carried Eli. But you know what? That's what I think about Jalen Hurts. He's above better than Eli Manning as a quarterback that won the Super Bowl. Not by much, probably about this much. But at least he's a little bit better. Alright, now let's talk about my Colts real fast and what my Colts have to do to freaking ever get the chance to even think about competing for a playoffs. Well, first off, it's got to start this season. We got a new defensive coordinator, Lou Amarillo, or whatever his freaking name is. And he was a good defensive coordinator for the Bengals, except for the last year, I think. But Lou Anarumo, yeah. Lou Anarumo, that's his name. He was a good defensive coordinator for them last year. Well, except for last year. and he got fired and we got him. But first off, you got to make some kind of moves in free agency. They don't have to be big splashes. They don't have to be you taking Aaron Rodgers into freaking free agency. It don't got to be you taking the highest rated freaking players in the free. Just take players you think will be good enough to fit your team and will get you over the hump to get to the freaking playoffs and possibly a championship. I mean, you know, we got holes. We need safety. We need linebacker. We need corner. There's the main holes because I think defensive ends I think we're good at. Because I think Kwity Paye, despite what other people think about him hitting a ceiling, but yet these same people want to sit there and say, well, we should go with Dio Adigbo and utilize him better in Lou Amarillo's system because maybe he'll be better, but yet they want to say, oh, we think Kwity Paye hit his ceiling. How is, you know, when someone gets close to what they got to last year with sacks at defensive end, how have they hit the ceiling? He only got a half sack less than what he had last year. This past year, he had 8 sacks. Last time I checked, 8 sacks is close to 10. And we haven't had a quarterback to get 10 or more sacks since we had Justin Houston. You know, 8 sacks is 2 away from 10. 8.5 is almost 2.5 away from 10. But yet, people want to say, oh, we think he hit his ceiling. But yet, you're going to lie. You're going to sit there, tell your fans, yes, we should bring back Dio Adigbo. It seems like he hit his ceiling last year because he didn't even get half of what he got the year before in sacks. His pressure rate might be a little bit better than freaking Kwitty's. But Kwity Paye, I think his pressure rate improved a little bit better. This past year, his pressure rate was a little bit better than it was the year prior. But you know what? Yeah, pressure matters, but also sack numbers matter too. And they discredit him and call him a glorified they call him a freaking good run stuffer. He's been either your best pass rusher or one of your best pass rushers the last 2 years. Because last year he was second because of Samson Ebukam having a pretty good year. And then this year, he led the team in sacks. He had 8. The closest to 8 sacks anybody had for the Colts was Latu for 4. And I think Latu and Kwity, when they're both in together, I think Latu, second year, I think Latu's going to be a lot better this coming season than he was last season. And I think Kwity Paye is going to consistently do what he did the last couple of years. Maybe you never know. He might get 10 sacks this year. Maybe he might get 9. Who knows? But I would take 8 and 8.5 sacks, possibly 9 or 10 over what? How many did freaking Dio have? Like 3.5? How many did Tyquan Lewis have? I don't know, about 1 or 2. So, yeah, how has Kwity Paye hit a ceiling? The ceiling's when you get to a certain point and then you just start dropping. This guy only dropped a half sack less than what he had last year. But I think making some moves in free agency, I think receiver is something you might want to look at too in free agency this year. I know we got to get a tight end as well because tight end is a major need. I do not want to see any of our freaking tight ends we've had the last couple of years come back at all. I don't care if it's Jelani Wood. I don't want to see Cox. I don't want to see Woods. I don't want to see Granson. I'm at the point where I don't want to see Mallory. Get us some new tight ends on this team, and we could probably be a better team offensively. And I think, honestly, if I'm the Colts, I'm going to test out how good Pierce, Adion Mitchell, and Downs can be. And if that means you have to move freaking Pittman to 4th string receiver, then fine. Because I think those guys got better upside than freaking I think they got better upside than Michael Pittman Jr. Those three guys could be our future receiving core that we need to have a good offense. Now, our offense hasn't been bad the past couple of years. We've been pretty good on offense. But we've been lacking tight end. We've been lacking a good backup running back. We've had so many injuries on the on the offensive line. If we can stay healthy and we can make some moves in the draft, I think we could be talking about going to the playoffs and possibly competing to try to get to the Super Bowl next year. But we'll have to see. But, you know, we had a bad year in, 2022 when we freaking went 4-12-1. We bounced back with 9-8, so maybe after 8-9 season, we can bounce back and be in the freaking playoffs. That's my hope for my Indianapolis Colts, but we'll see. Anyway, let me know what you guys thought of the Super Bowl. Let me know what you guys thought of the halftime show. Let me know what you guys thought of the commercials. And please like this video. Subscribe for more. Follow my Facebook fan page, Mr. Hornsby83 Show. Follow my Facebook business page, Trigen Toys. And till Wednesday, see you guys later and peace out.